I guess this is Denver 7 News at 5. We're going to go right into our continuing coverage of the protest now in its second day, protesting the death of George Floyd. African-American man, 46 years old in Minneapolis, died after several minutes of restraint, very ugly restraint by a white police officer, knee on his neck. I'm sure many of you have seen this really troubling, horrible video. There have been protests in Denver, in Los Angeles, of course, in Minneapolis, where we've seen 2-3 nights of buildings burning there. But this is the reaction to it here in Denver. Last night, the protest turned into a hours-long march. That's what you can see last night. Traffic on I-25 was shut down. Windows were smashed. Cars were bashed around. You can see that. That's outside the Capitol last night. In fact, that pickup truck is Senate Majority Leader. We're going to hear from him in just a little bit. No serious injuries. There were 13 arrests last night. Police used non-lethal bullets and fired tear gas. So it really did devolve into an ugly scene. And we all have our fingers crossed that this afternoon, even though the crowds were quicker to gather in numbers, that we won't see that type of protest. Jess?
It looks like we have Denver 7 has been bringing you team coverage as protests stretch into a second day here in Denver. Lance Hernandez has reaction from Denver's mayor and police chief as they plead for peaceful demonstrations. Liz Gilardi shows us the damage done to storefronts in downtown Denver. And Russell Haythorne and Sloan Dickey will be our eyes and ears on the ground. We're going to start with Denver 7's Russell Haythorne, who has been following this crowd in downtown Denver as it moves down the 16th Street Mall.
Yeah, hey guys, we're here on 16th Street. We're actually a pretty good distance behind the protesters right now because we stopped for a situation back down on 16th where a woman was being arrested just a few minutes ago. So we're trying to catch up at the moment, but we've seen protests throughout the day. In fact, Josh, if you can spin around here, you can see some police. This thing really started to escalate at about 4 o'clock this afternoon when police and protesters were in a standoff situation at Broadway and 14th. Protests earlier today were largely peaceful, we see the protesters right over here, Josh. So essentially they're making their way back up 17th right now. We're on 16th Street and Welton, and now you see that huge crowd over there making their way back up 17th. I imagine they're heading back to the state capitol or Civic Center Park. That's sort of been what they've been doing all day. They made their way down 16th earlier today, then back up and staged at the state capitol. I believe we have some video to show you of that protest.
All right, Russell. Yeah, we don't have that video at the moment. We will work to get that. We'll come back to you in a few moments. And we get out to Denver 7's Lance Hernandez, also part of our team coverage tonight. Lance?
Well, we've been following the protesters. We're on the tail end as they make their way up 17th Street here, heading back toward Broadway over there. I can tell you that this has been a raucous protest. A lot of yelling, a lot of chanting. We heard people yelling, Black Lives Matter. We've seen a number of signs among this crowd here, but it has been peaceful, raucous but peaceful. Now, I can tell you a little bit earlier that we spoke with Denver's Mayor Michael Hancock, and he said that he was very concerned about the violence that happened last night, specifically as it pertained to the rock throwing, the fires that were set. He said one of his officers got hit in the head with a rock, was taken to Denver Health and is on the mend. A number of other officers also hit. Their injuries not as serious, though. In all, 13 people were arrested, most for burglary, criminal mischief, and assault. In addition to the rock throwing, some protesters broke windows, some set fires, quite a few blocked traffic on I-25. Denver Police Chief Paul Pazin says his officers showed great restraint throughout the evening and only took action when dangerous situations occurred.
All right, Lance Hernandez joining us live. We'll get back to you in just a few minutes. Lance, thank you very much. Jess?
We're going to go now to Denver 7's Liz Gilardi joining us live on the 16th Street Mall where business owners are cleaning up today.
Well, and business owners are watching as protesters just went through the mall again today. And to be quite honest, they are a little bit worried about what could happen tonight. We're here at Soul Street Shoes, and they've been on the mall for 15 years. They say they've never had a problem until last night, and that's when somebody picked up one of those scooters you can rent, and they threw it through the window of this business here. People went in, they started looting the place, and they stole probably about $10,000 worth of merchandise. And a couple of hours after the owner got the store boarded back up, they actually went back in, tore the boards down, and a second time looted the place twice in one night. And you know, for an owner like this of a small business that's been shut down due to COVID-19, it is just devastating for them. They said to have a loss like that at a time like this is really just awful and hard to deal with. And we've seen a number of businesses with windows boarded up on the mall. Corner Street Bakery is another one. They had a table thrown through the window last night. So a little bit of damage. And so far today, as you said, protesters have been peaceful, but I think business owners here are a little bit on edge, just wondering maybe what could happen tonight. And in fact, here at Soul Street Shoes, they've even went as far as to hire private security throughout the weekend, just in case. So again, that's kind of the situation here at the mall as business owners are cleaning up and in some cases boarding up. Reporting live, Liz Gilardi, Denver 7.